someone wants to talk, you raise your hand, and then that way we'll know kind of, you know what I mean, one person's talking, if that makes any sense.
You can also, there's also an icon on the bottom if you hit participants, says raise hand.
Yeah.
The little blue hand shows on the screen.
So if someone wants to talk, you raise your hand, and then that way we'll know kind of, you know what I mean, one person's talking, if that makes any sense.
You can.
Oh no, what did I do? I'm full screen here. Oof. Yikes.
Go up to the top right, exit full screen.
Woo, that was scary. There we go.
So is Jim, are we able to hear him?
I can hear you.
Okay, good, Jim. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
I won't raise my hand.
Okay. All right. So looks like no Greg and no Jillian, right?
Well, Greg's trying to get on,
Greg
right?
is trying, and
Yeah.
he tried calling and he tried the link and he's still getting stuck.
Dan, can you send it again?
Yep. I am sending it to his SAU account. So similar to Kara, if he's having issues because he has a different account, that might be related.
I'll tell him, I'm texting him.
I'm wondering, does anyone have the other meeting open? I'm just wondering if maybe Jillian's in the wrong meeting.
I will cancel it on my end.
I just sent her a text to see.
All right, the video is on the website, and as soon as you give me the go ahead, I can open it up for everyone to phone in.
Bill, where did you say the raise your hand is?
If you click on the participant icon on the center bottom of your
Oh,
screen,
yeah.
it should show on the right side,
Okay.
right bottom.
So Jillian said she's been waiting for it to start since 5:45.
Tell her to link out.
Yeah, Dan, why don't I have Dan send her a new link just like he sent in.
I deleted the meeting, so she should be tossed out. So if she can click on Dan's link, we should be okay.
Did Dan just send her a link? I know he just sent one to Greg, but I don't know if he sent it to her.
All right.
Dan, you can hear us, right?
Yes.
Can you send Jillian another link?
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Yeah, Lindsay, tell her to check her email and look for a new link.
Okay.
From Dan.
All right, done.
Cool.
Let's see.
Give me 1 second.
Sent.
Cool.
This is the quietest everyone's been.
So what are they seeing on live screen if someone's watching it from YouTube?
They'll see this.
They'll see us. Okay. Well, all right. Thank you.
He can't get in because the meeting hasn't started.
Correct.
Oh, Jillian just came in. There you go.
There she is.
There she is.
Jillian, your microphone. There you go.
There you go.
Ah, she's figured out the backdrops.
The background, yeah, I've heard about that.
Should be a Twilight Zone background.
Yeah, Greg said he still have a hard time getting in. So on the new link, he just sent me what he's getting for a, please wait for the host to start this meeting.
Did you tell him to log out and go to the new link?
Yeah, he said he's using the new link. And maybe his computer's defaulting to his regular work one or something, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
This is the Hooksett School Board Meeting, help desk, how can I help you?
Oh, maybe he's calling the help desk.
I'd have him do a complete reboot and
Correct.
go
the
back
meeting's
in.
Not started yet. We're still
Okay.
waiting for school board members to sign it.
Greg, reboot.
Yep, it won't recognize you until it's started. All right, so give us a couple minutes here and we're still working on it.
Greg's trying to
All
FaceTime me.
right, thank you very much. Can you let them know I got my first call for help desk?
Hey, Greg.
Log in as the host, because it's, as of right now, it seems like nobody's logged in as the host.
No, Dan's in it, us. We're all in. Everybody's in but you, Greg.
Shit, okay,
Yeah, so he said try rebooting your computer and using that new link he sent.
okay,
All right?
all right, yep, bye.
All right, cool, man. Bye-bye.
Vincent has resolved his first help desk ticket.
Excellent.
I'm gonna hire him.
Yeah,
I'm a little overloaded.
the man of many talents. Hey, Bill, so on this checklist, I have to read the whole thing top to bottom?
Yes, that's what Gordon said. You got to read the script. Yes.
Very cool. All right. Get a water. Be right back.
So stupid question perhaps, but is the YouTube link essentially live or it's like delayed a minute behind, or how is this gonna work?
It's probably gonna be 20 to 30 seconds behind what you're saying.
It's not
Yeah.
bad though, not bad.
Yeah, I heard myself earlier when I talked to you when you first hooked it up, and then it was like 20 seconds later.
Yeah, I would advise that you don't have the stream open because you could create a black hole and it would just not be good for anyone. So just do not have that feed running at the same time.
So everyone but Greg, right? So as soon as he's in, then we're good to go. He can't get in. We may have to go without him. Or you just call in.
Is there a way for us to call him to pull him in?
No.
The only way to pull them in is from Dan, who's the host, who sends out the invitations.
But I mean, as a default, Dan, can he just call in and just not have his face up here?
If he called the public number, he would be able to listen and not participate.
Okay. Well, maybe rebooting his computer will help. This feels like the beginning of the Brady Bunch when they show everybody. Remember that?
I do remember it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Alex.
We did it my senior talent night in high school. It was actually pretty funny.
I'm still trying to find my hand raising here. I found it the other day for a meeting.
Click participant on the center,
Is that where it was? Oops, where'd it go? There it goes.
click on participant, and
Ah.
it should be on your right.
There, I raised my hand.
There you go, Lindsay. I see you.
All right.
So haven't heard from Greg yet. He must be in reboot hell.
Dan, we're live, right?
You are on the internet.
Phil, you want to explain what we're waiting for?
Sure.
Just for anyone who might be watching.
So for folks that might be watching, we're actually waiting for our last board member to get hooked in, and then we'll be starting as soon as he's in. If not, we'll give it a few minutes and may have to go on without him, because we have enough for a quorum.
I've been waiting to open the phone line until the meeting starts, but it's probably just time to do that so people can listen.
There's Greg.
There's Greg. Oh, there he is.
There you go.
Here we go.
Greg, unmute yourself. You're muted.
Bottom left of the screen. There you
All right, I'm
go.
in.
Cool. Okay, so first things first, I have all my paperwork right here. So I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6:11. And first thing we want to do is the Pledge of Allegiance. I have a flag right here. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Pledge allegiance
To the
To the
flag
flag,
Of the United States of
of
America,
America and
to the republic
for which it stands,
stands one nation,
Nation.
under God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with
with
liberty and justice for all. Nice job, Phil.
Hey, you know, I'm trying. My wife provided the flag, so. All right, so, Bill, we have proof of posting, right? Okay, so the first thing I need to do is read basically a blurb because we're doing the meeting remote, so get ready. As chair of the Hooksett School Board, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of COVID-19 pandemic and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12 pursuant to executive order 2020-04, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting. Oh, thanks for the contemporaneously, holy crap, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that we are A, providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. We are utilizing Zoom for this electronic meeting. All members of the Hooksett School Board have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through this platform, and the public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, participate in this meeting through dialing 1-929-205-6099 or 1-312-626-6799 or 1-669-900-6833 or 1-253-215-8782 or 1-301-715-8592 or 1-346-248-7799 and password 388-273-961. B, providing public notice of the necessary information for accessing the meeting. We previously gave notice to the public of the necessary information for accessing the meeting, including how to access the meeting using Zoom or telephonically. Instructions have also been provided on the website. C, providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anybody has a problem, please dial 603-518-5047, extension 5015. D, adjourning the meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting will be adjourned and be rescheduled. Please note that all votes that are taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance. When each member states their presence, please also state whether there is anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the right to know law. So why don't we start? Someone raise their hand and then they can speak. How about that? Or why don't we start with Greg? Go ahead, Greg.
I'm present and I have nobody with me.
Okay, Lindsay.
I am present and I've just have my 2 Shelties with me.
Okay, Jillian.
I am present and I have no one in the room with me.
Ben. Oh, you're not a board member.
I'm present and I have no one in the room with me yet. There might be a 4-year-old who's gonna come charging in here any minute.
Okay, Amy,
Amy,
unmute.
I am alone and nobody is with me.
Okay. Jim Sullivan,
All here by myself.
Kara Salvis,
I am here and no one is with me.
Marge Pollock,
I'm in the office and Bill is about 15 feet away from me in his office.
Leanne,
I am here and I am by myself.
okay. It's Phil Denbo in the chair. I'm here and my wife's wandering in and out of the room as I speak. Bill,
I am here at the SAU office, in my office. As Marge said, she's in her office about 15 feet away.
okay, so that's everybody.
Phil, I think we lost Wayne.
Oh,
We
you
did.
did. I don't see him anywhere. Okay,
We had 13 participants. Now I see 12.
Yep.
Let me
all right,
talk.
so. I mean, we'll play like Wayne left the room for a bit. We still have enough to have a quorum, so let's just keep the meeting going, and when he pops back in, or if he'll call into the helpline if he has any issues. Okay, so we're beyond proof of posting on personnel, the administrative nominations. If people had a chance to review it, I'll entertain a nomination, a motion. And we can do them as a group.
I'll make a motion to approve the Hooksett School District nominations 2020 to 2021 as presented.
I'll second.
Thanks, Jillian. So any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
I just wanted to correct Mr. Benson's, the spelling of his name. I think it's supposed to be Matthew and not Matter.
Matter.
Duly
Must have
noted.
changed his name.
Okay. I think Leanne will note that. All right, so now we have to take a poll on the vote, right, guys? So
Yep.
Mr. Chair,
we start out Kara.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I raised my hand.
James,
Should we not list the names of the people we are nominating? Because they can't see the paperwork that we have in front of us.
Oh,
I think we're okay, Jim.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Okay, so Jim, are you yay or nay?
Yes.
Okay. Lindsay,
yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Jillian,
Yes.
and me, yes.
Oh, Wayne's
Oh, Wayne's
back.
back in.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
Hi, Wayne, can you hear us now?
Okay, good.
All right, cool. Hey, listen, we just actually took a vote on the administrative nominations that are in your packet. We just approved it, okay?
Okay, so you got a vote from him?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so next I'll entertain a nomination for the professional staff nominations.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Underhill professional staff nominations for 2021 as presented.
I'll second that.
Thanks, Jim. Any discussion, guys? Nope. Okay, so all those in favor, I'll take a poll. Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
Okay. Wayne?
Yes.
Jillian?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Lindsay?
Yes.
Kara?
Yes.
Me? Yes. All right. So moving on to the manifest.
Wait, Phil?
Yep.
Yeah.
Greg had just done that for Underhill.
Okay,
Is that correct?
No,
I think his motion was for
It
under.
was for that. Actually, I apologize. It should have been for the professional staff.
oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was for the whole group.
oops.
Yeah, that's what I would meant it for. I apologize for that. I was looking at the, when I was scrolling through the Underhill one when I said it. Do you want me to amend it?
Yeah,
All right, so I'll make a motion to amend my original motion to include professional staff nominations for 2020 to 2021
for
as
all
presented.
three, right?
Yes.
I'll second that amendment.
All right, so taking a roll call again. Jim,
Yes.
okay. Kara,
Yes.
Wayne,
Yes.
thank you. Lindsay,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Jillian,
Yes.
me, yes. All right. So moving on to the manifest and expenditure report. Anybody have any questions?
Amy, do you want to explain how this works?
For the manifest?
Yes.
Yeah, for
Okay.
the public.
Okay, so since obviously we can't have everybody sign it at once, we sent out the list of the manifest to all the board members so they could see the dollar amounts. And then they were dropped off at Lindsay's house for review and she went through all the bills. So we've had them reviewed by a board member. And as the board approves it tonight, I'm going to ask that everybody sends in their signed manifest sheet and we'll put those together for the auditor to show that this manifest was approved by the board.
Okay. So I should make a motion then? I have it here. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So I would like to make a motion to approve April 7th, 2020's Hooksett Manifest in the amount of $1,350,791.90.
I'll second.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna poll everybody. Jim,
Yes.
Wayne,
Yes.
Kara,
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Jillian,
Yes.
Bill Denbo, yes. Okay,
Lindsay, can you just repeat the number for me, please, one more time?
Oops, sorry. Yes, it is $1,350,791.90.
Thank you.
Yep.
okay, so moving on next to old business. We're gonna talk about the kindergarten lottery and how that's gonna take place now that obviously we can't do it in person. So Bill, you wanna take that one?
Sure. Because of the COVID-19, as Phil said, obviously we can't come together. So I'm proposing, Ben and I and the policy subcommittee, that we have a virtual lottery that would take place, if approved by the board, would take place next Thursday. I have asked Ben to join us because he, obviously it's his school, and he actually came up with the framework for how the process for assigning the numbers would work. So Ben, why don't you pick it up from that, and then I'll jump in.
All right, so as many of you already know, we had a high number of submissions for the full day kindergarten or for the lottery. And one of the things that, we had to figure out was the assigning of numbers for the lottery. So we went, and kind of thought about maybe doing like a random selection for assigning numbers, but it made the most sense to, go in alphabetical order, because I think we have, roughly 90 requests. And if we went in alphabetical order by last name, that's how we would, begin the sequence of assigning number 1, number 2, number 3, so on and so forth. And that way we can explain to parents, that was our process, that we, went in alphabetical order, and that's how you got your number. And then, we would mail a letter to notify them of their number And we would have it recorded on our end on a, on their registration form. And also we would probably have a spreadsheet as well, just as a backup document.
And then Ben would mail out the letters to parents, notifying them of how the numbers were assigned, when the lottery would be held, et cetera. We spent today, Marge and I and Dan Roma, who's our tech director, we were up at Cawley, kind of going through a dry run of what it would look like. We would place the numbers in a box. Marge would pick each number out, and we've got it so that we maintain social distancing regulations. I would read the number out, show the number on the to the camera, and then Dan has it figured out that he can also put the number on the screen that's behind us at our meetings. So as we draw down, I would do an introduction, explain the process of how it's going to work. We would pick the first 20 numbers. Would be for the class, because right now that's really all we have money for. Then we would pick the remaining numbers for the wait list, and as we pick them out, that's the order for the wait list. So if we picked number 77 on the first pick for the wait list, they would be number 1 on the wait list, and then we just go through the rest and then conclude it. We would film it like we would film one of our school board meetings. It would be filmed live at Cawley. And again, because of social distancing and everything else, it would just be myself, Ben, Marge, and Dan in the room.
Anybody have any questions?
No, so can I chime in? I didn't
Lindsay,
raise
yeah.
my hand. So just so families know, if they're tuning in, ideally the mailings will go out on Friday, right? By Friday?
By Friday, yes.
By Friday, and then again the 16th will be the drawing.
Yep, April 16th at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
And so a quick question from me. So Ben and Bill, so after the lottery, right, obviously, I mean, most folks would be watching, but will those same letters go out notifying folks if they made the top 20 or not? How will that go?
Yes, we'd send, every parent will get a letter. The 20 parents that are the numbers that get chosen for the class, they'll get a letter, congratulating them that they were chosen. We'll give parents a date to notify us whether or not they want to participate in the all-day session. Then a second letter will be mailed home to parents of all the parents on the wait list, telling them what their number is and how the wait list would work. And that would probably go out, if we're doing this Thursday, those letters probably no later than Monday of the following week.
Quick question. With everything that's been going on, how are we standing as far as curriculum wise for both the kindergarten and the other grades as far as trying to adapt? I know we haven't been able to meet. I'm sure the teachers are trying to do the best they can with the distance learning. So are we going to be okay as far as curriculum goes?
We're going our students, and just like students across the state, we'll have learning gaps. If we come back by May 4th, we can close those gaps. So as if it didn't happen for most of our students. But if we have to go to the end of the school year in our current format and the remote learning mode, our students, and we've already been having conversations about how we're going to try to remediate those gaps once we get back to school.
Okay.
Bill, I have a couple questions.
Sure, Karen.
Ben, were you going to follow up with phone calls to the families as well as sending the letter?
Yes, so we were going to kind of use 2 modes of communication. So the official notice would be the letter with their number, also explaining the process. We would also, make phone calls just to, connect with families and say, there is, a letter coming, please look for it. Your number is, number 8, for example. and try to make it very brief, but just to kind of give people a heads up, like look for this letter. It's a real letter, and you'll receive your number, in the mail, just as a confirmation. And again, it's going to have all the information about, the actual lottery date, all the process that's involved. Just being very clear and explicit with the families.
And the letter will also be emailed as well. We'll scan them and email them.
My follow-up question was on Thursday, will you be able to live stream it with the closed captioning issues?
Marge, you want to jump in on that one?
We will live stream it. If we are not able to close caption it, we will still live stream it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, Jim,
sorry, I raised my hand. I didn't see.
go for it.
You should probably make note that the process that Mr. Rarick and Mr. Lloyd mentioned was talked about at a meeting, not last meeting, the meeting before. So we did discuss the process which Bill described. I believe so. Is that correct, Mr. Rarick?
I believe we talked about I think we gave broad strokes. I don't think we were as, fine. We didn't have it as fine tuned as we do now, but I believe we did have previous conversations on that, Jim.
And I think that paper did discuss exactly pretty much what you had discussed.
We did talk about it because we passed the board passed the protocol.
Okay. I just want to let people know that.
And that protocol that the board passed was based on an actual people being in the room process. So we're modifying that process a little bit, Jim.
All right, thank you.
It's still, Marge will still pick the numbers out. I'll read them out. They'll be recorded just like we had previously approved.
All right, thank you. Just wanted to make people aware of that. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Anybody else have any comments or suggestions?
Can the board, a vote be taken just to authorize us to have the lottery, please?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the lottery process as it's been discussed.
Okay, Wayne and Lindsay both seconded.
And then one question, sorry, Mr. Chairman. You said it was going to be on the 15th, Mr. Rarick?
16th. 16th, that's April 16th at 6 p.m.
6 p.m. Okay, thank you.
All right, guys, so I'm going to take a poll. Jim?
Yes.
Kara?
Yes.
Lindsay?
Yes.
Wayne?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Jillian?
Yes.
And me, yes.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay. So, school board protocol discussion. So, I guess there's been some recent issues where I think folks are a little bit, I don't know, say confused about the types of questions we should be answering or getting from the public and information we should be putting out. I know when we all started, we got like a booklet of the kind of things that fell in our purview and the things that were primarily, for Bill and his staff. So Bill, could you give us some examples, I guess, of things that we should be answering, or maybe, if people ask us questions, the resources we should be going to versus maybe giving the answers ourselves?
Yeah, the rule of thumb, and that information was given to Wayne and Jillian right before we had this outbreak. The rule of thumb that I give school board members, all new board members, and I believe I said it when I was interviewing for the job, is that if people have questions about a dance at the middle school, or report cards, or issues with teachers, I always ask board members to refer those questions to either the principal or to myself. And because that's your job, is to just kind of, and then make me aware. I've always asked, let me know if you've talked to Mrs. Smith about X. You just let me know that, that happened, so I can be on the lookout to communicate with that resident or parent. It's really that broad. It's in New Hampshire, it's even more clearly defined than it was in Rhode Island. The New Hampshire school boards are for policy and for hiring. Day-to-day operations fall, if you had 2 buckets, day-to-day operations fall under myself, Marge, and the administrators. Policy, again, falls, within your purview.
Right. So in other words, I guess if we're getting questions about, our current learning status, or I don't know, how kids check off their homework or what they do with their Chromebooks, any of that stuff, we should be referring people to.
I would say you can refer them to the principal, and if they don't get any satisfaction there, kick it to me. Or kick it to me, and I'll refer them to the principal. It doesn't matter. Either way is fine.
So guys, any questions about that at all? I mean, I know we get questions and emails and stuff like that. And again, if it's stuff that's board related about policy and that type of stuff, obviously we should feel free to answer. But again, I mean, I know folks have our phone numbers and all that stuff, but if it's something that could be more appropriately addressed by even a teacher or the principals or Bill, we really need to be funneling those questions that way. Okay?
Mr. Chair, sorry.
Go ahead, Jim.
One thing that we put in the school board letter that appears in the kids booklet, the student handbook, it does say on that front page, it does list the protocols. If you have questions, you should go to the teacher, the principal, and the superintendent. So that would be the best approach, I would say, to a parent who would be calling. But policy, I agree. We certainly should be answering that, but we should certainly include Mr. Rarick or direct them to Mr. Rarick first. That's what I've been doing.
And again, if parents call regarding, like, say they have an issue with a teacher, one of the first questions that I ask is, have you talked to the teacher? And then if the answer is yeah, but I'm not getting anywhere, and then I'll say, have you spoken to the principal? And then I will obviously help, step in and help. But it's easier to solve the problem. It's been my experience when whoever's got an issue, they take it up with the people the issue is with, because they're on the scene and they know all the facts. And things get resolved, I find, much smoother that way, much more quickly as well.
Yeah. Hey, Phil.
Yes.
Sorry, I raised my hand.
Oh.
All right, I'll lower my hand. Yeah, and I just want to remind all of us, it's a perfect time. I was reviewing the policy on board member conflict of interest. I think we all, obviously we're doing this because we really love the town and the kids in the schools, but we were elected to just be there on behalf of the entire town, not one specific group or organization. So that might not be a bad one for us all to just review, and just keep in mind.
Okay.
And Phil, that policy is BCB.
Jim, did you say DCB?
B as in boy, C as in cat, B as in boy.
Okay, BCB, gotcha.
And then BCA is something that would be of interest, which is School Board of Ethics, and BBA is the School Board Powers and Duties. Those were something you should be looking at. But there's quite a few under B, under our policies.
Okay. And Bill, I don't know how you feel about this as well. So I know, and again, I'm not a Facebook person. I have a page, but I'm not friends with anybody. I only did it because my work made me do it. As far as, I mean, I think this came up when Phil was still here, and I know what his position was on it, but just kind of wanted to see what yours was, or if it was the same. So we had a lot of issues with Facebook stuff where people were putting out requests for like school supplies for teachers and that type of stuff. So is that something that should be happening in our district or not?
No, if teachers have requests, those should be coming through the principal. Okay. And if teachers aren't, again, if for whatever reason they're not getting any satisfaction that way, they can always reach out to me directly.
Okay.
I was going to say, I know in the past, one of the things that's been brought up, especially budget related, is why the teachers are asking outside people for supplies. And I know in the past that's been brought up because of our budget, and we have it in the budget, so it shouldn't really be being asked.
No, it shouldn't be. And if something's being asked for, it should be, that's outside of the normal budgeting process. And that's been my experience. And if it's something that we can get, that for whatever reason didn't get ordered, we make every effort to get it.
Any questions from anybody?
Yeah, can I add in?
Go ahead, Lindsay.
So Jim, maybe for either, I don't know, if the next meeting's too soon, but for May, I would like to make sure that Hooksett has in place a social media policy. I have a few from other districts that we can review, and I'm sure you have access to, the state ones. But we should make sure that we have one of those in place as well.
For the board, Lindsay, or in general?
Yes, they're for the board.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you just send me what you have, and then I'll share it with the subcommittee.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay. Lindsay, your hand's still raised. Are you good?
Sorry, I'm out.
All right. Okay, so guys, any other comments or any other questions or anything?
I have a question not regarding, is under new business. I've seen things about districts discussing April vacation. What is Mr. Rarick's thoughts on that?
I sent out a letter to parents.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Based on the feedback we were getting from our teachers and from our parents, that they wanted the break.
Okay.
That even though people may not be going anywhere, and I think most people don't go anywhere on vacation, or at least I haven't since I put 2 kids through college. I think it would be beneficial for everybody just to unplug for a week.
All right.
Plus, I'm not sure if you close your week, if you grind through everything, then you have a longer gap between the end of the school year and the start of the school year. So those learning gaps that we talked about when Greg brought up that issue about what our students might not be getting, that would just exacerbate it by a week. So I don't see any academic value or social emotional value to not having our vacation.
All right, thank you for that.
Yeah, I have to say, being home and trying to work and teach at the same time is definitely a struggle. So I agree. I think that everybody could use the break.
And as I said, as I provided in the updates to the board, we've been recalibrating the amount of work teachers give out, because again, what we think is maybe 20 minutes of work turns out to be over an hour or more, because as Greg pointed out, parents are working or they have other children, and it's just hard to get through everything. So, we're trying to, be conscious of that and adjust as we go.
Hey, Kara. Kara's got her hand up. Kara, what's up?
I just wanted to check with everyone. I don't know if everyone got the NHSBA email. It just came out today with the new dates for the webinars. I know we were waiting for those, so if you didn't get it, I can forward it.
Thank you.
I got one last question. Well, I'm sure maybe more, but Bill, have we, it's definitely looking like we're probably going to go longer than the April 30th or May 4th date. How are we doing on the planning for that?
This week was our first rollout for students at Colley to do Zoom. It's our second day of doing the Zoom lessons, and grades K through 5, the teachers have been asked to put 2 videos up a day, which are more instructive in nature, more instructional than previous. For the first 3 weeks, it was a stopgap measure.
Yep.
To try to get to, through those 3 weeks. But we determined that we needed to make it more meaningful. And I think if anyone gets a chance to, I know you have a first grader,
yep,
the videos should be changing in how they're being presented to our children. Also, our K-5 teachers are being trained this week in Zoom. And they should start, if everything goes right with the training, next week to do Zoom interactions with their students. It would be a snack time, a read along, lunch bunch kind of thing. It would be for social interactions to start, because that's what our teachers expressed to us that they would like to try. So in the long run, we would keep refining what we're doing. Ideally, we'd like to maybe see our teachers teach a little bit longer once they get more comfortable with the platform, but not too much, because again, capacity for our kids and our parents. But that's pretty much will be the plan if we have to go to the end of the year.
Okay. Well, I want to give you some kudos, because you guys are definitely way ahead of other districts and the stuff that you've done already. So thank you.
Thank you. And again, and I said this when I met with the Candy Board, our principals have done great, have done a superb job, and our teachers, they've jumped in both feet and are doing whatever we ask. So it's a testament to our principals and to our teachers as to, what great professionals they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I chime in?
Go ahead, Lindsay.
And this is a little unfair because our other two principals did not need to be on the call. So my 2 cents and what I'm hearing from fellow parents, one, I think it's incredible how, especially at Colley, they've reacted to the overload or what parents are dealing with. I think the kids were dealing with the workload just fine, but individually. But once you hit more than one kiddo, it was a lot, especially if you're still trying to work. So that, Mr. Largy and Mr. Benson reacted very quickly to that, which was wonderful. The new concern as we move towards likely not going back May 4th is the schedule. So I'll just put that out there, and then, we can talk with the admins. Our 7th graders consistently each day go till 3:20, which is a long day when they're starting at 9. So just something to think about and put forward to our principals.
One of the things that we've been discussing is to develop what's called an instructional day, which would be a little different than screen time, which they're experiencing now. We're kicking around ideas for students to be able to do independent projects outside of, not on a given day, but over a course of several days. And then they would submit them on that instructional day. And then we would have teachers doing other activities that we think will help with the video instruction. But that's still kind of in its embryonic stages as far as what that would look like. But, we've talked about the length of the day and trying to, again, right now, kids should be on, we're working on it, I guess is the best way to put it. We're aware of it, and, we'll keep trying to tweak it.
Yeah. And really impressive, though, to have this rolled out in, 4 weeks' time. That I think hooks it is way above. So.
And I thank the principals. I know Dan Roma, Justine Thane, Meg Largy, all have done great work. The back end, what you don't necessarily see with all the trainings and stuff, and Marge and all the input that she's given us. So it's been a real team effort, and it's just something that we'll, as I tell the principals during our admin meetings, we meet 3 times a week electronically, and I tell them that it's a new world for us, and our old ways of doing business, we have to change them. So, in many ways, it's a good thing, because I don't know if we had to do this kind of instructional work with videos and stuff, it would have taken us a lot longer than 4 weeks to amp us up. So I guess necessity is the mother of invention sometimes.
Hey,
Well,
Wayne,
good
you have
job.
your hand up. Would you still like to speak?
Yeah, just briefly, I just want to echo the comments about parent feedback's been very positive, and teachers, administration, and this facilities has been fabulous. I think the the parents working at home with the kids is really the biggest challenge folks are having. And that's not something we can address, but it sits out there as an obstacle that we have to try to support somehow, I think.
Yeah, and we've put, for example, we put up help pages for parents to go to get different resources. We tried to take them off the landing pages because we found the landing pages where the teachers have their assignments were getting too cluttered in some cases, so we've moved them to a different spot to help parents where to find things. And I keep telling our principals, and I know they keep telling their teachers, our parents aren't teachers. So when we give assignments, we have to be able to give them in a way that parents and our students, and sometimes our students understand it better than the parents.
Amen to that.
Which is a good thing, because that means it's demonstration of mastery.
Can't tell you how much I've learned over the last couple of weeks.
Yes, and the other thing that we'll be, we're kicking around is looking at changing the grading for the fourth quarter to go to a pass-fail. Because we're not in our normal schedule, we believe, and we're still finalizing it, that we'll probably shift to a pass-fail system for the fourth.
No, Bill, actually, yeah, a lot of colleges are doing that. My son's college said they go either way. Like you can request it or just stick with, the regular grading system.
Right. We think it's a more accurate way to measure the work. Plus, our kids don't have access to our teachers like they used to, and we don't. It's a matter of fairness, I think, as well. And it's also a grade is supposed to be measure how well a student has mastered the material. And in these times, it's kind of hard to hold them to the old paradigm.
That'll make us parents feel better too. We're feeling like we're failing.
Being a parent's tough enough. You don't need any extra help from the schools.
Right.
Again, amen to that.
We'll call it a fail, Lindsay. We'll call it a DNF.
We'll call it a pass minus, which is another thing we're kicking around.
Right.
Pass with distinction,
right?
pass and-
D's and F's, yeah, whatever.
I wish I had pass fail when I was in.
Me too.
So anything else, guys? Anybody have anything?
You guys want to meet in 2 weeks? I don't have all that. I mean, I can provide an update on the distance learning, but it's up to the board.
I mean, if I would say, Bill, if we're in the same mode we are now, no. But if there are significant changes, yes.
Okay.
Or updates that we really need to, yeah.
Yeah, and again, we're planning. We're planning as if we're not coming back. We hope we do, but we got to have plans in place. There's a lot of end of the year activities that are held at Colley that mean a lot to the kids and our parents, and like to have them if we can. But that decision may be taken out of our hands, when all's said and done.
Yeah.
Do we know when that would probably be called? Like at what point we'll know if we're going back or not?
Gillian, I think by May 4th, I mean, just looking at the national, everything that's going on in the country, I think we'll be experiencing a lot of, upticks in the number of cases. And my question that I would ask the commissioner is, because our parents are going to ask, how do we know it's safe?
Right.
For the kids to come back. So until that question can get answered to our satisfaction, I personally don't see us coming back. That doesn't mean we won't. But I don't know, if you can't guarantee our kids' safety, or there's not a way that this subsides to a point where we feel safe, I'm not comfortable saying come back on May 4th if things are in the current state they're in.
One thing too is, I've been watching the news since I've been home, and one of the things the governor said the other day, because somebody had asked him about when this, stay home is going to be hopefully coming to an end. And he had mentioned 10 days before April 30th, he's going to make a decision on whether or not to lift that, which I'm sure will impact our decisions here, along with everything else. But he had made that comment that 10 days before April 30th, he'll make a decision. But he also said that we're expected to spike that week and the first week of May.
Right.
That's what they're anticipating.
if you look at the models that the CDC have, it's exactly correct. So I'm not quite sure if we're in the middle of a spike in cases, how you can lift it, but I'm not governor, so.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So just curious, if our governor decides that we can come back, what is your role in deciding that we will stay home?
They have made it, the commissioner, is we're doing it every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We're doing call-ins now. It's down to Wednesday and Fridays. Almost at every session, the commissioner has said it's a local decision. So I believe it would be up to us to make that determination. I don't, because what's going to happen is, whoever I talk to this about, I think the commissioner will be getting pushback, especially from districts that have high schools, because of graduation, prom, awards nights, athletics, all that stuff. So the thinking might be, let's try to at least get a window where that can happen. I'm not sure if that will actually happen, but that could be considerations that they'd have to take into account. With that said, if it's local control, we do what we want.
Yeah, a lot of districts that have high schools have already canceled proms and end of year activities.
Pinkerton did a good thing. It did a good thing by scheduling the prom, having a backup date for graduation, and for July, and then I believe the junior senior prom will be held in the fall for next year, so the juniors will be able to get a prom as well. So that kind of thinking, I think, is the way. If I had a high school, those are the kind of things I'd be looking at. Wayne?
Yeah, just quick question. We were talking about reasons for meeting next week or not, or in 2 weeks or not meeting. And I think we've done a good job tonight setting up the remote meeting, but I'd just be curious if we would have an opportunity for public comments. That's one thing we weren't able to facilitate tonight. If we're crossing an April 20th date and we've got new information about how long we're open, is there a way we could hold a remote meeting in 2 weeks and somehow bring in public comment or public opportunity on that? I think that would be a reason to do
I believe we have the capability. I don't want to speak for Dan, but I believe it's possible. But I know we've talked about it because it happened yesterday. The Londonderry Town Council got Zoom bombed. Somebody hacked into it.
Oh, wow.
And said a lot of bad words. And the way this is set up here, this is a webinar. So we control who has the access. And the way Dan has explained it to me, and we'll have him, at the next meeting, we can discuss it in greater detail, far better than I can. But the minute we open it up to take calls, he explained to me that's when we open ourselves up to possibly being hacked and or Zoom bombed or whatever platform we're on. But we certainly could have that conversation in greater detail.
Yeah, I think that Mayor Mack had talked about managing it, and they're looking at dialing in or even sort of, I don't want to say lottery, but essentially interested parties communicate with the board ahead of time, and then we have a list of people that we specifically invite in because they wanted to comment. So I think there's ways to handle it, but
that's a good way, that you have a list of people ahead of time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than not having any input at all.
Right.
But we certainly could discuss that.
I personally think we probably should have a meeting, just to keep people informed of what we're doing. It's just updates. And I think trying to do this and try to be as normal as possible will help. And it's certainly going to help me because I need someone to talk to. So I think that's a good thing. And I think this Zoom idea works well. And certainly it's going to be helpful to the council when we do ours on the 21st. But I think we should have it just for some continuity, even though it may be a short meeting. At least have the principals and the staff and administrators give us updates. I think that will be good. I think it gives us some sense of normalcy. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Cool. Okay,
Give it to
so,
Wayne.
well, I'm gonna poll everybody to finish it out. So Jim,
Right.
Sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't hear who made that motion.
Wayne,
I did. Oh, I made it and Wayne seconded.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Jim,
Yes, sir.
Kara,
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Wayne,
Yes.
Greg,
yes.
Jillian,
Yes.
Phil, yes.
Good job, guys.
Be safe.
And you say you guys did what our kids do. So.